Back on TC Live, working our way through our list of tennis trailblazers. Venus and Serena will be the final joint entry on our list. Dominant champions on the court, groundbreakers off the court, and still adding to their legacies in real time. And with that, we are pleased to welcome back to the show Hall of Famer, U.S. Open champion, and now Tennis Channel contributor Andy Roddick. Andy, I know you've been watching as we've been doing this Trailblazer discussion today. As a guy who appreciates the history of this sport, I'm curious which Trailblazers sort of resonate the most with you, mean the most to you.
Well, we've been really lucky in our sport because we've had people who are giants inside of our game who have become bigger giants outside of our game, whether it's for charitable causes, for social justice causes. Venus and Serena, I was watching that footage and it kind of took me back because I was actually at Macy's in Delray Beach when they were there. And so I recognized those buildings in the background and the faded awnings and the whole thing. And at this time, we were just wondering, can these girls actually make it, not actually playing competitive tennis? And I think the answer is yes.
Absolutely. So, Andy, what is their legacy going to be? Because they've done so much on the court, but they've been such incredible role models as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to be really interesting to me to see what they do post-career. I know they have a lot of different interests. We'll see if the tennis world can keep their interest once they're done. I know Serena has a venture capital fund where she invests heavily in women-founded companies, and Venus has always been super involved in design. So I hope we see them around tennis even when they're finished. But at this pace, I don't think they're ever going to finish.
Hey, Andy, I know that our next segment, you're going to have a little hair-themed story going on. And so I was thinking of a guy in this list that's sort of known for some hair situations, and that's Andre Agassi. Your thoughts a little bit on Andre Agassi?
Andre is such an idol of mine that I chose to take the same hair path as he did. Have a lot early, really show it off, and then it's just a recessing asset for both of us. But it was one of the most amazing things about my personal tennis journey is idolizing people like Andre. I made all the bad decisions with him as far as neon spandex and everything else. I was just 8 years old at the time. And then actually being able to form a relationship and consider these people mentors later in life. I kind of knew Andre 2.0 when he might have had everything put together in an impressive fashion in business and philanthropy and tennis. And, I would challenge anyone to find as big of a crossover star as Andre. And when he had it going, the electricity he could create in a stadium anywhere in the world was amazing. And selfishly, I'm very thankful for his mentorship early in my career.
Andy, most players seemingly had gone through Nick Bollettieri at some point. I don't think you were ever one of them. What are your thoughts on Nick? He's another one of our Trailblazers.
He's since I can remember, he's been the guy that's just always been there. And I remember going to play local tournaments in Florida when I was good number one in the state and the country in 12 and unders, and then all of a sudden you get a tournament at Bollettieri's and you go up there and you see the kid from Italy who's a phenom, the kid from you start feeling worse about your game as soon as you step on site, and then you kind of cruise through the walkway of the tennis center there, and you see Nick out there yelling something at someone, and there was kind of this aura about it, and I was always completely fascinated. I would turn it on you because you know this subject way better than I do, but what's one thing that, minus the show of Bollettieri's and kind of the aura that he liked to put on, what's one thing that we don't know about Nick?
I guess we now know that he hates needles because, as you might or might not have heard, he's been in the hospital for a couple of days and he's been getting shot up with needles. Look, the guy's just a ball of energy. That's the one thing that when Nick walks in, you feel that energy wherever you are, and that's what I'll always remember about him anyway.
Hey, Andy, I want to ask about a lady that I know that you have tremendous respect for. Billie Jean obviously did so much for women's tennis, but also women in general. Talk about her as being a trailblazer.
Well, the thing that I respect about Billie Jean, and we've had a great relationship for a long time. We haven't always agreed on every single issue, but she makes no apologies for what she believes in. She makes no apologies. She will call her shot. This is what I'm going to do. and anyone standing in my way, I'll work, with you, around you. We'll have the conversation, but I see the goal, and I'm going to get there in some way, shape, or form. And that's the way there had to be a personality like that to put women's tennis in the position it's in. In every single player that comes along needs to stop and have a conversation with Billie Jean. I've never seen her not have the time to stop, give her energy, give her wisdom to an up-and-coming player, and I'm certainly one of those also. She's always given me just amazing time and wisdom to kind of pick her brain.
Andy, let's look forward a little bit to next week's. And next week on Monday, the show is going to be about upsets. And curious where you would put the 2009 Robin Soderling win over Rafa at the French.
Yeah, I mean, that's about up there. I mean, I would say the only kind of way that I could go about arguing that that's not, on the top of the list of the biggest upsets of all time is you're looking at like Lori McNeil beating Steffi Graf first round of Wimbledon, or a lower ranked player beating someone. I lost to Jill Mueller first round of the U.S. Open when I was 2 in the world and he wasn't. So but as far as just like the place and the venue, it has to be up there. I mean, there's no tougher out in tennis than Rafa 3 out of 5 sets at Roland Garros. So just an amazing effort. And also it has to take someone like a Soderling that can absolutely just bludgeon the ball. There's not going to be an upset at Roland Garros of someone like a Rafa Nadal with someone who just can't absolutely blow through a shot.